Hello, and we're back again with a new episode of Trainerheadz, a conversation with a Trainerhead. You're here locked in with your host Jay, and today we have a special guest for you guys. Today we have Mr. Franklin, aka the King of Trainers.
Hey, how you doing?
My bro, thank you for coming in today. Thank you for taking that time out.
So good.
Okay, so Mr. Franklin is a content contributor to the culture, in which we're going to let you know a little bit more about him, what he does, and how big he is in the sneaker scene right now, because this guy, you really need to know who he is and about him. So let's get locked in. Seeing as you're here today, you have to tell us what was your first trainer that you ever purchased, that you remember purchasing.
Me.
Not one that your parents bought for you where they forced you and said, Franklin, you have to buy this, you know? Like, what was the one that you said, you know, you took your own hard-earned money and you said, I want to buy these?
Oh my God. I think it could have been the Nike Air TW. It's a cross trainer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, but this is ages ago. I ain't gonna say this to the but those who don't know. Yeah, I mean, I was very, at a young age, I was always on making money and saving my money.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
I love trainers. Like, that's what I ever wanted to buy. So I always saved my money. So it wasn't a problem for my mum to take me, and my sister as well, to take me to these shops. You know what I mean? That's kind of, to be honest, that's kind of how I got my name. Like in the very early times of sneakers. Basically, so my mum used to like tennis. So she used to buy me like anything that Boris Becker would wear because he's tennis player. You know, so I'll have like the latest Pumas, Diodoras and stuff when I was younger. But then like when I late 80s or 90s, I was going to the States every year.
Okay.
So I'll bring back the latest pair. Or a pair, it wasn't even the latest pair, it was like a pair in the States, and back then you just couldn't get it. So I'll get like, maybe it could be Air Max or whatever, or Jordan, whatever, and then I'll bring them back, and you know, everyone has to come fresh after the summer holidays. So I'll come fresh after the summer holidays, and people come to my, like all the older kids will come to my classroom and be like, what's Franklin got on? Because we have to see what is coming out, do you know what I mean? And I would normally have what is going to be the hottest shoe that year. So that was my nickname, was King of Trainers.
King of Trainers, as a kid. From early, okay?
As a kid. So what happened is I registered the Twitter. And like I've done lots of different things. So I tried to do a website back in 1999, thekingoftrainers.com, back in those times. Back then the internet was crazy. Then when the social media came out, I've done different things in the sneaker game, but I kind of left the name, I let it go, and I re-registered and all that sort of stuff. Then I coming to the Twitter game, I had a forum called Fabs Network, which I built myself. It was like a little forum for creatives. Okay. Then I had on there I had like a little section for King of Trainers, where me and my friends would talk about snooze and trainers, and it was like a North London forum. So I registered a Twitter, King of Trainers. Yeah. But what people don't know is JD Sports used to call themselves King of Trainers back in the day, and then they stopped using it around about. Prominently, they stopped using it around 2003, and they went with Best of the Best. So they changed their brand in black and yellow bags and stuff like that. And then basically, like I had a Twitter, so I was talking to stuff on Twitter. Then my friend said, Nike owned us, do it. And that's only possible nothing. Why doesn't JD Sports speak to the King of Trainers? So then he added us both in the tweet, and then they replied, and they went bonkers. Do you know what I mean? So this was. I don't know, so this was probably 2010, 2011, around that time, I can't remember. And they just went nuts. So they started tweeting us, saying, oh, who's this imposter? Why has he got the name? Blah, blah. And then I was like, oh, sorry, like,
trying to catch a little case.
Yeah, like, I didn't know like, what's going on. So then basically, from there now, like, and back then, when you had like 10,000 followers on Twitter, you were massive. Like,
okay, of course, because
you know what I mean?
Still growing.
Yeah,
still growing
so
platform.
I only had a couple hundred, and I don't even have a big following on my Twitter. So I was replying back like it's cool, but then all their followers started to attack me, saying, who is this guy, blah blah. So now I was like, you know what, like let's talk, and then they just blocked, man. Okay. So then about 2 weeks later, they sent me a legal cease and desist, saying that I've infringed on trademarks, etc., etc. And they were a bit, I'm not gonna say crafty, but they went in. Like anyone would have been scared. They kind of found that I had different things in assets and stuff, and they were gonna take it. And then I was like, whoa, like they were like, give back the name, like very like aggressive. So I kind of just was like reading it, and I'm not the type of person you threaten. So I was like, let me holler at them. So I said, look, let's have a conversation about this. They then said, like their lawyer said, no, we don't want to speak to you. Our client doesn't want to say nothing, doesn't want to talk to you. Or just hurry up. So give me like 7 days to comply or something.
Okay.
Like that. So in that time, I was like, oh my goodness, I got to really kind of take this seriously. So I learned everything that is about trademark law.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they have a retail trademark. So I was like, oh shit, like let me, you know. So then I just found little kind of, trademark law is vast. So there's case studies and loopholes and stuff like that. And I just said, oh, okay, I found this little case study. And then I called up their lawyers, and I said, there was a female lawyer, and I was like, hi, can you train on the phone? And she lost it. She was like, you can't call yourself that. Don't you understand? Blah blah. So I was like, well, actually I can, you know. And then she was like, what do you mean? And it was very, very aggressive. That's like spitting the law to her, you know, because people don't understand that trademark law is vast. There's so many different classes and stuff like that.
And as long as there's a case study and there's a precedent that's been set, you just follow accordingly.
Yeah, straight. It's law's the law, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like if you say you're the King of Jordans, and then the shop comes up and your personal IP is assigned to that. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't even for me. I wasn't even taking it like aggressively. I was just like, I'm gonna just follow the law. So then basically she said, then it turned from attack to concern. She said, oh, but if you go to court, don't you understand? And let's be honest, like JD, I can't. You know, I love JD. I can't mess with them. Like they make £1 billion a year.
Of course.
They own Side, they own Foot Patrol, they own Foot Asylum now. You can't mess with them. So I was like, maybe like if we could work together, you know, that wasn't gonna happen. So she was like, oh, but you know, don't you understand? You can't win legally. And I was willing to take it all the way. So she said, oh, who can defend you? I said, I'll defend myself. She lost it. She was like, what do you mean? Like, so at first it came off aggressive because she didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? And she assumed, and this is what these companies do, they assume, oh, some young boy and stuff. Like, I'm a grown man, like, you can't talk to me a certain way. I think I'm just gonna back down. So I kind of said all of that, and I said, I'll wait for my court papers. She was like, you're really gonna assist me?
Go ahead,
I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? So after that conversation, I waited about 2 or 3 months. And then it's coming to like the 4th month, and then I got a letter saying, actually I kind of no longer wants to pursue this matter because you kind of quote unquote free to do what you want. And that's when I kind of jumped on the whole Instagram way, and I started to kind of do reviews and dress up like the king and the rogue. Okay. And what people don't know, and this story, I mean, they will never say it, but is then they start to go back to rebranding all their shops King of Trainers. So when you see the advertisements, there's only one King of Trainers, undisputed King of Trainers, undefeated, and all that stuff, they're talking about me.
Okay, so Franklin, just like how I just introduced you, so we've introduced you as a culture contributor. Yeah. Some of our viewers are going to be watching and asking us what is that. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Cool. So yeah, the reason why I say culture contributor is because I do a number of different things. Like a lot of people think when you have a big following, you're like an influencer, and they put you in that influencer category. Okay. But I do a lot of things. I teach people. I put on shows. I do content. You know, I do reviews. I answer people's questions. I troubleshoot. I do so many different things. So I'm not kind of in one type of bracket. I really contribute to this cultural sneakers.
Okay, so you would go against someone saying that you are a sneaker influencer or trainer influencer?
You know what? I wouldn't go against it. It's just that I think I've surpassed that. You know, what I've done. Like, I wouldn't go against it. I guess, look, if you're gonna pay me the money and say that, it's all good. I don't mind. You know, but no, I wouldn't. I don't think
so. You know, we've talked a little bit of the culture in London. A question that I like to ask guests that come onto the shows. For you, what defines a hype beast?
Oh wow!
Because we are now living in the era of the hype beast.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so tell us what's your take on it? What's your take on things?
Well, I think a hype beast is someone that it just buys things because it's popular. That's as simple as that.
That's the simple
answer.
Okay.
But we all have a hype beast in us.
Okay, so Franklin, you're working on something pretty big at the moment, or you have been working on something pretty big, which I want us to discuss. So you may not know, but Franklin has put together a sneaker of the decade book. in which should be coming out very soon, in which I want you to tell us a little bit more about that. Who was involved, when will it be coming out, what kind of shoes are going to be in there, what can we expect? Let us know.
Cool. No, yeah, so Sneaker of the Decade, it's kind of like a concept. So one of the people who follow me, a guy called Mike, he DM'd me and he said, at the Drop of the Year Awards, why don't you do an award for Shoe of the Decade, Sneaker of the Decade? So I kind of thought about it and I was thinking, I can make it bigger than just an award, because you know, we've hit 10 years and there's been so many shoes that come out in 10 years. So I done a soft launch on the 2nd of December on BBC London, and I was like, I set up just a little site, a little form online, and I was like, I just want everyone to contribute their favourite sneaker of the decade. So basically, it's like, it's the first time it's been done. So you know, normally books are by elitists, you know, of this person's a doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I want kind of every single person, everyone that's watching this, to go into sneakerofthedecade.com and just enter the entry of their favourite sneaker of the decade.
And we'll have that information down below as well.
I appreciate that. And it's really kind of like the first time, like, it's like an Instagram book. So it's like everyone will get featured, everyone who enters by the deadline. So we're launching the actual campaign on the 23rd of January at the Drop of the Year Awards, 23rd January 2020. That's the campaign launch. And the deadline for entries is going to be, I think, 1st of March. So like 3 months, 2 to 3 months to enter. And I want everyone, I want your entry, I want everyone's entry, you know, sneakerofthedecade.com.
Okay, so I gotta ask, what is your sneaker of the decade? You know, you're the guy who's the creator behind the book, so you know, you gotta give us an answer today.
I can't say it today because I want you guys to buy the book. But no, there's been so many, man. I mean, in the last 10
give
years,
us a top 3. You know, 3 shoes.
I don't even know where to begin, like, because in 10 years so much has happened. Like you've had the Yeezy 2s, you've had the, like, even recently the Sakai's that's just come and smashed it out of the water. You've had like the Yeezys, the Adidas Yeezys. You know what I mean? So you've had the Off-White Prestos. You've had so many different collaborations. And it's just been absolutely bonkers. I don't even know where to begin.
And I think that has been the big thing of this decade is collaborations.
Yeah.
Before, I know, growing up, there was not many collaborations. I could remember when I was a bit younger, like the Undefeated collabs. They were quite old school. Off the top of my mind, I can't remember that many, to be honest. But of recent time, especially in the past decade, there's been a lot of collaborations. And it seems that it's the collaborations are what sell.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, they're more exclusive, they're more limited. You know, just there's more hype.
Yeah.
You know, and definitely, I think you'd agree that the hype of sneakers or trainers for us has been crazy. The market has boomed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, I remember growing up and remembering that the only consignment store that I only ever knew of was Flight Club in New York. You know, like growing up in London, there was no such thing as a consignment store where you could go to, or a boutique where you could find, you know, limited shoes. All I knew was, you know, Foot Locker, JD Sports.
Well,
you know,
there was. I mean, South London had God, James Junior's gonna kill me actually. Sports and things.
Okay.
And they had like all the imports and stuff.
They had all the imported stuff.
Yeah, then in East you had Mr. Sneak.
Mr. Sneak, yeah.
You know, then you also had in East and Gants Hill you had Sneakers Limited. You had in Shepherd's Bush, what's Shepherd's Bush shop called again? You had one in Shepherd's Bush. Then you had 4-Star General, he used to do some stuff. Then you had Peckham, you had Real McCoy and Peckham. You know, so you did have, it's just that the internet made it.
We didn't know. People didn't know. You know, people didn't know.
I was driving from like 17, so I was everywhere.
Okay, them days, I was broke. I was a kid. You know, my mother was still buying my shoes then. You know, so if it weren't in Foot Locker, she weren't traveling nowhere to go buy me some extraordinary shoes. You know, Franklin, thank you so much for coming in today and taking your time out to come and visit us here at Cop It in Brixton. Please let us know your Instagrams and all of your channels so we can put them below so that people can go on them.
Yeah, so you can find me King of Trainers. That's the trainer brand. You can find me everywhere, King of Trainers. Personal brand, if you want social media, just Google me, Franklin Boy.
Nice one. So that's us done for today. Another episode of a conversation with a trainer head. You will see us again soon. Thank you very much again to Mr. Franklin, the King of Trainers. Keep your eyes up for the new episode coming soon, and we are out.